Welcome, casters, to the very first episode of the MetaZoo News Podcast. I'm Shab, some of you know me as Mr. MZN, and I am the executive editor of MetaZooNews.com. For the past year, I've been covering every twist, turn, and cryptid sighting in the MetaZoo world through articles, interviews, and community spotlights. Now, I'm excited to bring that same coverage straight to your ears. Each week, this podcast will break down the latest MetaZoo news, from product launches and tournament updates to artist features and convention highlights. But we'll go well beyond just headlines. I'll share context, analysis, and my own take on why these stories matter. And over time, we'll bring in guests from across the community to share their perspective as well. So whether you're a player, a collector, or just someone curious about what's happening in the world of cryptids, you're in the right place. This is episode 1. Let's dive in. Alright, casters, let's get into the big stories from the latest MetaZoo Monday, and there is a lot to unpack. We're talking organized play, product roadmaps, lore, and the community side of things. Let's break it down. First, organized play. This is something that players have been waiting on for a long time, and now it's starting to feel real. Charlie said that about 90% of the official tournament rules are locked in, which means the tough parts are done, and they're just polishing through more play sessions with groups of 16 players. That is a huge milestone, and I know for myself, I am very much interested in the organized play, the official organized play, when it comes out, along with the prize packs, which are going to be included. Which brings us to the prize packs. They are officially in production, and these function similarly to a mini set, but they are going to be used specifically for rewards for OP. They contain unique artworks and treatments, but no functional exclusives in that sense. There's not going to be brand new gameplay cards or anything like that. In Charlie's words, the point is to reward players, not lock gameplay behind expensive paywalls. Tournament kits are also starting to roll out in select markets, more as test runs than final products. It's still early, but the message is clear. Prize packs, kits, and rules are all moving from someday to almost here. And that's big news for anyone itching to compete officially. And for all of you still wanting to compete and waiting on OP, highly recommend that you check out the Casters Cup Discord, which I will link in the show notes. But that is where you can find people playing MetaZoo all the time on Tabletop Simulator, and they are more than happy to teach you how to play or just observe some other casters throwing down. Next up, the product roadmap. One of the biggest confirmations and news to come out of MetaZoo Monday is that blister packs are heading to big box retail. Yes, you heard that right. We are back in Walmart, Target, or other big box retailers. While details are scant, Charlie kept it short and sweet with a one-word answer: yes. That moves give MetaZoo access to stores it hasn't been in before, and while probably we won't see a one-to-one ETB competitor anytime soon, MetaZoo is experimenting with unique product layouts, things like flex decks and the upcoming dynamic decks. Now, on the less exciting side, TCG Player. Despite months of outreach, MetaZoo still isn't on the platform. Charlie was pretty candid. He's emailed, called, begged, and even asked eBay contacts to step in. But the decision's not in his hands. His advice to the community? Keep asking TCG Player for support, because they respond to retailer and customer demand. In the meantime, we're still waiting. But seriously, folks, if you haven't already, send at least one email to TCG Player and let them know that we are waiting on the new MetaZoo TCG to take its place amongst everyone else at TCG Player. Looking ahead, there is no mini set before the Dark Set in 2025. The prize packs will serve as the smaller release, and yes, the Dark Set is still on track. Though Charlie admitted the TCG manufacturing world is, quote, complete bananas, end quote. That honesty at least sets some expectations. Initially, from what we saw from a distributor listing, It did state November was their target release date. So that does track with the most recent confirmation. However, it is unclear if we will actually see the dark set launch in November. We may have to wait until December, but all of that is up in the air. The only good thing here is that it is in fact confirmed for 2025. MetaZoo isn't just about products, though. It's about story, lore, myth. And we got a teaser for an upcoming children's book that is in development, described as both adorable and 100% happening, even if it ends up releasing for free online. That's one way they're looking to expand the IP beyond cards. And if you just take a look at the latest picture, spoiler, from this children's book, the only one that we have so far, it looks like a Cumberland dragon sitting down with two children in what appears to be a field, which really sets the tone here for how MetaZoo is using and leveraging its IP and existing cryptids and creatures to draw in a new generation. And, this is just my take. I think any way that we can expand the world of MetaZoo into new formats or targeting new audiences, I say we do it. Every single time, let's go out for a new audience, a new crowd, and try to bring the magic of MetaZoo to everyone around the globe. And I think that a children's book is a great start to this. I think it would be cool to see on store shelves. I'm sure we would all go out and buy it. But yeah, that and maybe an actual novel itself, that would be cool. As we know from being MetaZoo fans, the lore is super well written by MGR. The website definitely needs some work in terms of being able to access each part of lore in sequential order. It's a little difficult to find at times on the current website, so hopefully we see some development in that area so that the lore, which again is a great story thus far, great story. I love the story of Abraham and everything that has gone along with it. I think it's super well done. If you haven't read it, definitely go and check that out. MetaZoo does post on their Instagram every time that they get a lore update, so something to take into account. Now, slightly related to lore, I guess very related to lore, we got some good news. Wendigo is officially returning. Yes, officially returning for the dark set with no changes to its OG design. Charlie called the new artwork sick, which should have Wendigo collectors very happy. I know I am very happy to hear that as well. And we got some news that the Flatwoods Monster also has new poncho artwork waiting in the wings, but it has not yet been assigned a product. Though, just to point this out, if you recall, from the Cardio website, when they were first getting Cardio back online with the new MetaZoo, they did release some profile pictures. And one of those profile pictures seems to be the art that we are referencing right now, this unreleased Flatwoods Monster art. It looks like you can get a sneak peek, at least, by going to Cardio and creating an account and attempting at least to choose the Flatwoods Monster as your profile pic from one of their pre-constructed sets. That will give you some taste here for what we can expect moving forward. And collectors, take note, promo 003, the mythical one that we have not seen, is locked in for Chicago Collecticon. So if you are a completionist like me, you can rest assured that promo 003 is happening. It will be there. So make sure that you are headed to the Chicago Collecticon, or at least know somebody that is, so you can get your hands on that exclusive promo. Finally, community and events. So, Charlie gave some advice to content creators. Don't overthink algorithms. Just make content that builds your community. Reliability and approachability matter more than likes. Now that is a refreshing take, especially in a space where people get caught up chasing views instead of connection to the people around them, the community that actually makes up MetaZoo, which honestly is a main reason why I have gone on to create this podcast, is to create more community content, even if it is my old boring voice that you can listen to. I highly encourage anyone who's got a little creative itch in them to do something, create some content for MetaZoo, as it will grow not only your personal community, but the community as a whole, and hopefully open up MetaZoo to a whole new world of trading card enthusiasts. Now, on to conventions. Event promos are generally described as opportunistic to some degree, and not every event will get exclusive cards. That is just an unfortunate reality of dealing with large card printers that require months of things in advance in large quantities. So not every event is going to get its own promo moving forward, but the strategy is about creating deeper engagement through things like prize packs and convention packs experiences rather than just flooding the market with promos, which, as MetaZoo fans, if you were a old MetaZoo fan, you were very familiar with. There was a promo for quite literally anything that you could think of, any small convention, and, to be fair, there are some promos that were never made, the cursed promos. Hello, Arby's. Charlie did say, by the way, if anyone has Arby's contacts, Charlie did say that he is open to the Arby's promo if we can get someone from Arby's involved. So let's really use our community spirit here and figure out a way to make the Arby's promo crossover possible. But anyway, Chicago Collecticon is where, like we said, promo 003 will finally land. And to close in that segment, Charlie teased that if the community hit 50 reactions on his post, we would see a dark set spoiler next MetaZoo Monday. And guess what? We have already hit well over 70. So next Monday, we will see the very first dark set spoiler outside of the blister pack spoilers, which I believe are just promo cards. So it looks like we got a lot to look forward to. And for now, that is the news roundup. Organized play is moving fast. Blister packs are headed to retail. TCG Player is still holding out. Wendigo's return. A children's book is in the works. And conventions are shaping the way promos roll out. For me, the biggest takeaway is that MetaZoo is trying to balance 3 tracks at once: competitive play, product expansion, and world building. If they can keep all 3 moving forward, we might be looking at the foundation of a strong second chapter for the game. Of course, news is only half the story. The real heartbeat of MetaZoo comes from the community itself. Let's shift gears and talk about what creators and players are doing right now. The first thing that we're going to take a look at is our latest community spotlight with MetaZoo Keepers. That would be Squigs and Zrin. So they sat down with an interview for us, and they are some brand new MetaZoo content creators. Shout out to MetaZoo Keepers. That's metazookeepers.com. We also have their Discord invite on metazoonews.com. So if you're interested in that, we'll also post that in the show notes below if you want to hop in and join in the action. So MetaZoo Keepers is doing a lot of very cool things. The first and foremost, they're opening packs, and a lot of them online, showcasing all the hits and results, which we love to see. Additionally, they host their own Whatnot shows under the MetaZoo Keepers name. And perhaps most exciting, they are developing a deck builder and a AI versus user game that you can play to hone your skills, to use the decks that you have created on their website. It is a very fresh experience that hopefully we will see sometime soon. On their Discord, if you join, they do have a little sneak peek at what that might look like. So we highly, highly recommend that you take a look at that. simply because look, MetaZoo Keepers is doing brand new stuff for the community, and I, for one, am just so ready for MetaZoo to release a mobile game. Even though I know that's not what this is, it does just give me hope for the future that a mobile game might exist. Because let me tell you what, for my professional job, I work with students a lot, and the number one game that I see students playing is the Pokemon TCG. Like, people you wouldn't even expect to like trading card games enjoy playing that Pokemon TCG app on their phones. And I know that, having taught hundreds of people how to play this game, that if there was an app, I know for a fact that it would do very well and really spread MetaZoo to a whole new audience. And I know that probably somewhere down the line is on the docket, but what MetaZoo Keepers are doing now is just very exciting. And of course, as you know, Immortal Workshop created the first deck builder, still creme de la creme, but if you are interested in trying something new, I know that MetaZoo Keepers is constantly updating their software, and you can't go wrong with at least giving them a shot, for sure. Other things, the MetaZooArchives.org is back. They also run some great short-length news in the communities, along with producing set lists, cards, anything you can think of there. A shout out to our friend Cutthroat Zoo, who did an interview with us as well. So definitely check out MetaZooArchive.org, not .com, but .org as well. Some other community news. We got some folks like Bunnyman Productions who are putting out new YouTube videos. So definitely go check them out. Bunnyman is one of the very few creators that actually showcases gameplay and talks about deck building, the things that Charlie spoke on a little bit about on MetaZoo Monday. So definitely give them a watch on YouTube. And hey, might as well give MetaZoo News a follow or a subscription on YouTube too while you're at it. But those are some community takes that we have here with our community members. And one last thing to note here is that we just hosted a giveaway with Spooky Babe 23. Hopefully, and Charlie and Meta2 writ large, GQL, if you are listening to this right now, please take a moment and deeply consider adding Spooky Babe 23 as an official artist. We need to see some Spooky Babe art on actual cardboard. That is something that I have heard so many people at these conventions as we give these stickers out say, and it only takes a look through different Whatnot channels and the Discord to see that many, many others love the artwork that Spooky Babe 23 is doing, and she has such a unique art style that I think would really, really look great on a textured card. Just saying. So hopefully Spooky Babe 23 will get the call up to be more than a sticker artist. But definitely go follow her on Instagram. I'm sure she has other socials, but Instagram for sure, it's SpookyBabe23. And that is our community roundup. But speaking of community, there is no better place to see it in action than at conventions. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming up on the convention circuit. MetaZoo still has a full convention lineup through the end of 2025 with locations such as Atlanta, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, New Jersey, San Antonio, and Los Angeles all on the docket thus far. That at least is from publicly accessible data. If you go take a look at the Collecticon website, you will see the MetaZoo logo right there for their sponsored partners. So going off of that alone, we have a lot of conventions left in the 2025 season. Just again to run through some of those dates, Atlanta is on September, the weekend of September the 13th. Chicago, October the 11th. Houston, October 25th. Dallas, November the 8th. New Jersey on November the 22nd. San Antonio on December the 6th. And Los Angeles, California, December 20th, 2025. That would be the remaining lineup for 2025. And if any of you have ever been to a convention, or at least have seen some packs online, you will know that our convention packs, the ones that we hand out at the booth, those are only for 2025. There will be a new convention set for 2026 and following years, but that will be very different from the 2025 set. So if you are still trying to get a full set completed to be redeemed, you still have some time through the end of 2025. But just beware, after that, they are going to move on to a new set, and there will be no more convention pack cards from the 2025 set. So, I would highly recommend, if you're able, come to a convention. There's always a big table for trades that inevitably gets filled up with convention packs, so I highly recommend going there, meeting a few people in the community and trying to get that full set done so that you can get it stamped and redeemed, simply because those redemption cards, they're going to change up too. So you only have a limited amount of time to get those done, and yes, you can buy those packs on eBay if you can't go in person, but that set, they have 2 mini sets inside there that you need to complete, a full art version and an expanded sketch card set. So both of them definitely doable to complete in that time frame, but highly recommend at least trying to finish it. So that is our Collecticon lineup. MetaZoo has been very tight-lipped about whether or not they're going to go to smaller conventions or bigger conventions outside of Collecticon. And again, like we discussed in segment 1 when we're talking about promos and exclusive promos at different places, if MetaZoo does decide to go to smaller conventions, or just conventions like, for example, the Mothman Festival in Point Pleasant, or a festival about the Flatwoods Monster, or so on and so forth. It is unclear and unlikely, given what we have learned, that all of those are going to get an exclusive promo, but if MetaZoo keeps following their formula, there will at least be a promo of some sort, not necessarily exclusive to the event, that will be available to be handed out, as that is one of the engagement metrics that they really like to focus on and push. So, with that being said, I personally would love MetaZoo to go to at least the Mothman Festival, at a minimum. As someone who's from West Virginia and has been to Point Pleasant 10,000 times and has been to the festival as a kid, man, I want an excuse to go back. And now I'm based out of Houston, so there's not an easy drive that you can take, and plane tickets are expensive, but give me a reason to go back to West Virginia, and I will be there. But that's just my take. But the convention experience is really fun. If you haven't been to one, this is basically what goes down. We have a free spin wheel that has all kinds of stuff, from packs to stickers to lanyards and everything in between. Any kind of swag we can give away, all for free on that spin wheel. We have a bunch of learn-to-play tables with a bunch of different volunteers ready and willing to teach you. If you complete a learn-to-play, we give you an alpha demo deck to take home and play as well. And then, of course, we sell all of our full-size products, from booster boxes to flex decks to playmats, convention packs. All of the above are sold at the booth. And at 1 p.m., we do our ultimate spin, where we have a free spin for full-size products, including booster boxes multiple. So all of that is such a fun time to do and to be around. And if you're lucky and get to go to a convention that I am working, you very well may see me on the stage throwing out some packs. That was a really fun part of Kansas City that I really enjoyed. So hopefully I get to do that again. But that is everything about conventions. And just to close our very first episode here with just some miscellaneous news and my personal takes. If you type in metazoo.news into your browser, that will bring up our website. We did secure that domain, so go ahead, test it out, just for my sake at least, and get over to metazoonews.com and read all of our latest articles about all of the latest happenings in the wild world of MetaZoo. So I do want to end off here by just giving my personal take on the relaunch thus far. At the end of Old MetaZoo, I was crushed, like many of you, I'm sure, that MetaZoo had to die. It hurt me as a person. Not to be overly dramatic or anything, but it definitely did cause some pain for me. It felt like a part of me was dying almost. I know that sounds dramatic, but it at the time that is what it felt like. I had invested a lot in MetaZoo, not just monetarily, but personally. You know, I had decks, I had friends that we played with. I had local spots in Houston that we could go and rip packs. I mean, there was all kinds of community there that I'm really looking forward to have back. And through things like conventions now, we're starting to see that community return. So in that respect, I'm very excited about what MetaZoo has to offer, especially in the relaunch. And just taking a look at things that, MetaZoo has done well, done poorly, I think, and this is obviously controversial, but, I was a huge fan of the watercolor art. That's honestly one of the big things that caught my eye about old MetaZoo. But I will just say, in this market, in this day and age, I think that MetaZoo has done such a good job with their art rework. And I know a lot of you, that's where the new MetaZoo sort of lost you. It's the new artwork style. But the good thing about it is twofold. One, you do still see that old artwork. I mean, they straight up reuse some of the OG art, which I think is a amazing homage to old fans. And, the new style helps bring in new fans. And I personally have always enjoyed fan art where they use different styles other than watercolor to showcase cryptids, and I think this is just a huge expansion of that. And if you recall, old MetaZoo near the end started to deviate from the watercolor. I mean, just take a look at Kuromi. I mean, where was the watercolor in any of that? And I know that's like the cursed set and everything, but still, MetaZoo was transitioning away from watercolor only. And I think new MetaZoo picked up where they left off there and have just taken it to a whole new level. So I'm very pleased with the art team and everything that has been produced thus far with the new MetaZoo cards. Quality-wise, I think new MetaZoo cards are great. Good card stock. The second set, Torrential Tides, has had some exceptional printing. I know that there have been complaints about the first set with print lines and things like that, but by and large, it looks like Torrential Tides, they got that figured out. So very pleased with the quality of the cards. In terms of SKUs, I know that logistically there are challenges with introducing a bunch of SKUs. So I get that. What I would like to see is sort of an ETB equivalent emerge in the future. Or at least just some additional opportunities to get MetaZoo cards in people's hands that might be able to be found in big box stores. And honestly, new MetaZoo doesn't have right now and it hasn't even been a year since it's launched, but just months, but it doesn't have a huge LGS following at the moment. So my opinion is get as many products out into big box stores as humanly possible as fast as you can. Coupled with some advertising, I think will go a huge way. So that's my take on that. In terms of playability, I think the new game, and I know this also is controversial, is by far hands and feet above the competition. I mean, I think that this game is legitimately just as fun, if not more fun, than things like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic. Things that all things that I have played in the past. I think this game, the gameplay is peak TCG. And sure, I'm a homer. I get that. I love MetaZoo, but I love the MetaZoo IP. And now this game, GQL, has made me love MetaZoo the game. So I think that this game has got a lot of stuff right. If you're still on the fence about new MetaZoo, I would highly encourage you just to give the game a shot. It can't hurt. I've taught literal 4-year-olds how to play, and yet the game is complex enough to make it mastering incredibly challenging. There's lots of nuance for the game. I mean, from anything from creating huge amounts of spark tokens to overwhelming your opponent with giant beasties to creating immense amounts of equipment cards, sacrificing them for mission points. The meta is constantly evolving and changing, and it's just one of the good things that GQL has really brought to new MetaZoo is this amazing game. So highly recommend you go out there and try it. But that is about it for the first episode of the MetaZoo News podcast. If you like what you hear, consider giving us a follow on your podcast platform of choice. It really helps us out, and I know I am excited in the future to get some guests on the show. So if you are interested in being a guest, please feel free to reach out and give us a follow on Instagram. That is at metazoo.news. And take a look at our website, www.metazoonews.com. You'll find all of our socials there. And for now, this is goodbye, casters. But we will see you next time for episode number 2 of MetaZoo News, the podcast.